attack, and you realized you were overcome by the moment. Because
of course, and I think anybody would have if they were fooled and scammed in that horrible manner.
Well, maybe if you'd have woken up on time, you wouldn't have been scammed. No,
all right.
Didn't listen to the radio on your way in.
Probably the attorney here with the rebuttal.
You were begging us to fuck with you.
So you got fucked with, then you realized Howard was there, and you said you were going to make some changes. Have you made... You talked about the Roth and the 401k contribution, but...
That's as much as I basically can do. Considering my circumstances, what I get paid, what my nut is, it's the best I can do.
But when you hear,
I did make an effort.
But when you hear Howard say, Sal, you're taking a car into the party, you're going on these vacations, wouldn't it make more sense to put that money aside and save it for your future?
It would, but you also have to live a little bit as well. You're going to be one of those guys that just socks everything away. Then one day you get a heart attack and your drug addict children end up taking the money.
No,
and,
but I mean,
that's usually the fucking case.
I think family vacation.
Uncle Nunzio put every nickel away. You know how it is. We've all been there.
I think a family vacation is important because, it's for your family. But I think that you could say to your wife, you know what, honey, we got to tighten the belt. There's nothing wrong with taking a train. People take the train every day.
I'm with you. I'm for it. Come to my house and tell her that.
But I've been trying. But why can't you tell her that?
She says that, look, I'm going to get dressed up very nice. I'm wearing a nice brand new, it's got to be, that's another expense. It has to be a new fucking dress. She's got 1 million fucking dresses in that goddamn closet, but it has to be a new one, and she's not going to sit down in a dirty train where fat, smelly, ugly, homeless people sit and shit and spit and have sex and pee themselves. And she has a whole scenario, and she's going to sit in that, even if you don't see it. The germs are there, and they manifest. And she's not going to she's not going to have a good time at the party under those circumstances.
You know what you need to get for your wife for Christmas? I thought, because Sal's wife is a germaphobe. This is so perfect. You know that wax paper that they pull onto the doctor's thing? You should just bring that on the train.
They use that at massage balls too. Not that I would know that, but anyway.
Did you have to get her a new
crinkle paper? When you come in, it goes.
Did you have to get her a new bag too to go with the new dress?
What's that?
Was there a new bag that went with the new dress?
No, the new bag is for Christmas. She gave it to me already. She goes, here's my Christmas present, wrap it up.
So what's the party? Because I've been down this road too. Sometimes when we go to an important party, an important wedding, my wife has to go out and get stuff. But she's, she's not crazy about that stuff. This holiday party, what do you think? All in, limo, ride home, dress and everything. What's it running you? $1,000?
Well, I'm guessing generally the dresses for some reason cost anywhere between $400 to $600.
Wow,
she seems to be on the $600 side.
Well, guess what? There's a lot of dresses that don't cost that much.
I know.
So call it $600.
And those are places my wife would never step fucking foot into. But it's her. But what are you gonna do? That's
$500 on the dress. I give you $500
on the dress.
$150 for the car.
$250 with the tip. About $250.
Right. Is that round trip?
Round trip.
So so we'll say $250. So it's $750. The bag was how much? Even though it's a Christmas gift.
I don't know the price of the bag because she bought it.
Right.
She bought it. She goes, here you go, wrap it up for me.
I'm going to guess you're over $1,000.
I would guess so. I would guess.
So does that sound like the thinking of somebody was crying a year ago and is planning for their future?
Sounds like a beaten man. It sounds like a guy who's going with the flow, trying to make the best of everything, trying to balance it out, trying to go by the motto, happy wife, happy life. Look, I love my wife. There are certain quirks she has, certain quirks I have. We try to meet a little bit in the middle, find some middle ground, and it's fine.
So how happy is the wife going to be if you look at the savings account and there's nothing there? I understand that, sort of spending as you go, but ultimately you got your kids, you got your future, there's a lot there. I mean, doesn't she realize that?
Absolutely. And she is, for the most part, pretty frugal. It is Christmas time, so she deserves a gift. Everybody likes a nice gift. She deserves it. She wants to go to the holiday party. That's once a year. And aside from that, she really isn't spending much money.
By the way, is there an appointment at the salon?
Yes. And she bought a brand new blow dryer. She goes, this is the greatest blow dryer in the world. I go, great. You'll be able to fucking blow out your hair for the Christmas party. She goes, no, not a chance in hell.
Have you ever... And a mani-pedi?
Yeah. Mani-pedis are always,
Have you ever said to her, no, we really can't afford that right now?
And she goes, and we can't afford for you to go to Atlantic City with your friends on the weekends as well, and we can't afford for you to play poker, and we can't afford for you to do whatever.
Well, that's a question I was going to ask.
She has a lot of tit for tat, so I really don't have that much of an argument.
I was going to ask, what are your vices? And so, your poker games in Atlantic City, how many times a year do they come up?
Poker games maybe 3 times a year.
How much are you willing to go? Whatever you go within your pocket.
$100, $150, 100, 150.
So it doesn't sound like an equal.
Yeah, it sounds like all of your stuff together is what this party is costing.
Wait a minute, you go
Or a
out to
bag.
Atlantic City to the casino.
No, the poker game's $150. AC's probably $500 to
you're saying
$500 to $700.
It's a local. It's a home game. That's
Yeah.
$150.
But again, you're talking about events 2-3 times a year. This does not go on all the time. I did invest in my IRA this year. I put 10% more in my 401k. And at the end, and for January, we're going to start the 529 college plans from all 3 of my boys.
That's good.
So
That's
I'm heading in the right direction. Yeah.
When
Doing the best that I can, trying to live life a little bit. I am in the red. I am in debt at the moment, but not as much debt. Nowhere near the debt I used to be in. I cleaned that up tremendously.
So now, how come you don't go, if you used to go out on the road a lot, you say, I got to go on the road because I got all this debt. So you clean up a lot of your debt. How come you don't go out on the road more to try to now build up a nest egg?
Well, that's the next thing. For the new year, Rich and I are working on putting something together as well and getting back on the road. But from what I made in the past from the road, that was going into a savings account, Gary, towards all of my debt. So the past certainly paid off a lot of my debt. And now to get ahead, I have to get certainly back on the road.
Why did you get so upset today when Gary went in and talked about, you being unsure of what being
I
in the red
misunderstood
is?
him. Well, because I did, under the pressure of it being in the red and the black and everything else, I didn't get it right. I do sound like you sound like a jackass. When you sound like a jackass, you try to defend yourself. That's all I could do. All I was doing was kind of deflecting, arguing with Gary, trying to make a little entertainment. I was doing all of the elements to deflect away from me fucking up being in the red versus black.
Serious question.
I'm totally guilty, but I was playing the game.
Serious question. As a stockbroker, why isn't red and black just second nature to you?
That's a good question. And believe it or not, we didn't use that a lot in the industry. We really didn't.
What did you use?
We just didn't really use the term much. I mean, we really didn't. Red and black, it just wasn't a term that was that common, but it is a common term no matter what. It did come up. I'm not saying it didn't. But at that moment, I don't know why. And I was just talking about red and black with my wife just 2 days ago, which is even crazier. I think the combination of thinking about her talking about it and what she's spending and how we're bringing it up, I fucked it all up.
Now, there was another thing that went on behind the scenes that I thought was really funny. You had complained to the guys that you didn't hear what I said correctly because the screen in my office was too small.
You said the monitor was too small.
Well, when Gary speaks, I look at his, his lips and teeth, and I didn't see it. It was like I actually put on new glasses.
You don't need to see it at all.
Yeah, but it's also hard to hear from your speakers a lot lower, and it was a combination of the two things. But I also misread you, which I made clear as well.
Well, the other thing you misread is when I said, if you were such a great stockbroker, why don't you do it anymore?
Right, that's what I meant.
You got all crazy defensive.
Yes.
There's no allegations against me. You were like a mafia guy.
Yeah.
And I was I was sort of busting your balls like, well, if you're so good at it,
right.
Not that you've done anything wrong, but that you should.
For some reason, you had a little bit of a smug look on your face. And it was for a different reason, but I thought you were implying like, oh, what did you do that you're out of it? Tell us why you're out. It seemed like I did something that was frivolous or whatever. What's the right word, John?
Frivolous.
You got it.
No. Everybody jumps in and says, oh, no, it's not.
No, it's good.
It seems like I did something that was not copacetic, and that's how I read it.
Much better choice.
Thank you.
Well, was it frivolous or not copacetic?
First of all,
It's
not
copacetic.
copacetic. It's copacetic. which is
Copacetic, sorry.
I would say I'm going with final answer frivolous. Frivolous final answer. I don't know. What can I tell you?
It's just like in the red. John in Boston, you're on the wrap-up show.
In the debt in the red.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey.
Sal's a retard. He's got to grow up and take responsibility for his money. He can't just blame it on his wife.
I didn't.
Spent $1,000. Yeah, you did. You're an idiot.
No,
Shut up.
no. You shut the fuck up. First of all, I'm not going to shut up and listen to a douchebag like you who's calling me a retard who's got himself on the most successful show in the world, who's able to keep his marriage together and was successful on Wall Street. You're a fucking jerk-off piece of shit. You should drop dead in front of your fucking families that piss in your open wounds. Don't you fucking call me an idiot when you don't know who I am, how I live, and how I maintain my fucking lifestyle. I'm doing everything right. If you had a half a fucking brain, you would hear I'm putting 529s together. I contributed to my fucking IRA, and I put 10% more on my 401k. Go fuck yourself, you jackass. Drop fucking dead. Die of cancer in front of your kids. Hang up on him.
You really think you should speak to the listeners like that, Sal?
No, who the fuck is he to call me a fucking idiot? He's contradicting everything that I said. I just got finished explaining. I didn't blame my fucking wife. I told you everything that I contributed to. I told you how I'm managing my finances. And this guy goes, oh, don't blame it on your wife. You're not managing things right. You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You know why you're an idiot? Because you didn't hear one fucking word I just said. So you're a fucking idiot. Fuck you.
What was your follow-up question, sir?
Thanks for calling, John. Nate in Pennsylvania.
Fuck 'em.
You're on the wrap-up show.
Hello?
Hey,
Nate, what's up?
Hey, this guy, he ain't never been no fucking stockbroker. He was a telemarketer.
Well, what do you mean by that?
He don't know shit. He was a telemarketer for that stock brokerage firm, and that's all he did. That's why he don't know none of them terms. And Gary, you was on the right track. That's how he don't know none of the terms a stockbroker uses because he never was one. He was a fucking telemarketer. That's all he's ever been. And he don't know shit about what he's talking about. He's full of shit.
What do you know? What do you know, asshole?
That was all he was a telemarketer. I know that you weren't no stockbroker.
No, a telemarketer, sir, a stockbroker doesn't have a Series 7 and a Series 65.
That's all the fuck you were on Wall Street was a fucking.
And what are you? What are you? What are you?
Truck driver.
You're a truck driver? Crash into a fucking pole and drop dead if you're a truck driver. You cocksucker. Drive your truck into the fucking woods and blow up, you ass licker. Fuck off. Here's a telemarketer.
Take it easy on the listeners, man.
No.
We're talking about you,
Look
Ronnie.
who's talking.
Nate, thank you for calling the wrap-up show.
Fuck that guy, too.
Sal, how sophisticated was the place you worked? I mean, when the guy says you were a telemarketer, did you do more than just push stocks?
I worked at National Securities. I was a stockbroker. I sold stocks. That's all that I did.
No, but you know, at this. Hold on, Ronnie. I mean, at the stock.
I just coughed. Not allowed to cough?
Well, no, but I mean, there's not a question. I mean, Sal, you passed your test. You made a very good living as a stockbroker, which you left in order to come here and follow your dream. But I know you take it very personally. You get very offended when people think like, oh, you were just in there answering calls.
I don't get
You
offended.
did more than that.
Listen to me. Take a look at my paycheck. See what I've done. I was very successful at it. But I'm not here to defend that. It's when people say like, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. Yes, I do know what I'm doing. I'm well aware of what I'm doing. I got to where I am. Everything that I wanted to do, every dream I've pursued, I've done it and I've conquered it. And this is the best one of all. And you know what? If people say, if you can do what you love, then you're never working a day in your life. And guess what? Guess what this retard was able to do? He was able to do what he loves, and he's making a living from it.
Did you love being Did you love being a stockbroker?
Yeah.
Did I love it? It was okay.
But I know you were able to do a lot of your prank calls while you were a stockbroker.
That's right. That's right. I was able to utilize Wall Street to make fun of Gary.
Well,
to prank call Gary.
It makes me wonder how hard you were working at selling stocks if you had all that extra time.
And I was making money on top of it. Can you imagine if I actually applied myself? It was a walk in the park.
Well, there are those who would make the argument that you were a stockbroker during the period of time that was sort of the heyday of the market where it would be almost impossible to have done that job and not make money.
There were plenty of people who didn't make money, but yeah, somebody once pulled me aside and says, you know what, you're the quarterback in the Super Bowl and you just threw a Hail Mary and you ended the game and you don't even realize that you did it.
I don't
and you
understand
won
what
the
that
game.
means.
He said to me, like, he goes, you're a quarterback in the Super Bowl. It's fourth quarter. You just threw a bomb or whatever.
Hail Mary,
whatever they call that thing. Your receiver caught it, and you just won the game. Meaning that
referring to what
everything was just falling into my lap. Like it was so easy.
What you've just said is that your whole career was one lucky pass.
No, one lucky pass. Because that particular month or whatever, he was just saying like that was basically my day every day.
So every day, every pass was a Hail Mary.
Talk to the guy who said it. I don't know.
I don't know. Why would you don't know about football? Why would you use a football term?
Because I'm telling you what the guy said.
You can't even throw a football.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, but why would you use a football term?
Out your back, your old fart?
Why would you use a football term if you don't know what you're talking about?
Because somebody told me the football term. How do
you know the guy didn't mean it? It meant it to jump off a roof. How do you know what the fuck it means if you don't know what football is?
He said quarterback. He said Super Bowl. I know those two things. Isn't a Hail Mary like a go for broke throw?
Yes.
All right. So there you go.
So every day you were going for broke and you hit it?
No, he was saying, no, I think he was just giving me a whole scenario.
No, we're not busting your balls when we say
I know.
I understand the analogy he made. I just don't understand what specifically it refers to. Does it refer to a day, a month, or a career?
I think it was the month. The month.
But you don't know.
I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to get that guy.